Hello guys, and today we're going to be seeing every single team in the Premier League, where they're standing, how they've performed well, how they've been bad, and just how the season went. And first of all, we have of course Sunderland, who have finally been relegated. It had to happen one day, but I didn't expect it coming now. They had Jerome Defoe, Jordan Pickford, and even Lee Cattermole was great. But what do you expect? Sunderland were actually really good this season. And no, I wouldn't say they're the worst team, even though that's how it is by the numbers and on the table. But Sunderland, the main thing about it is because they didn't really have a good window. They lost a couple good players, but I don't remember who they are. I don't know if they had Victor Wanyama, but they probably didn't. They were good. They were really good entering next season, not being relegated in a long time, but still, they're judged as one of the worst teams in the Premier League because they never go down. It's finally happened, and the championship might not be rosy for it. But next up we have Middlesbrough. We're not going to talk too much about them. They scored the least goals this season, have been utterly dreadful. Literally, they have done nothing good this season. But I thought they would put up a good fight for relegation and finish 17th. My prediction was wrong, and I actually predicted that in the midway point. So that's pretty upsetting for Middlesbrough. Hull also managed a really good fight for the to get away from relegation, but they ended up going down. They brought up Marco Silva, but it wasn't enough to get them out of relegation. But they started out very well, and they're probably going to do very well in the championship. What for yet another team who've had a really good start. They beat Man U. They were top 10, and they look rosy for Watford. They had a chance to finish in Europa League, and they've only narrowly avoided relegation by a whisker. 6 points ahead, but still, they could have went down and beat. Now Burnley again. Burnley have had a great start to the season. They drew Man U, and they were really good. They beat Liverpool, but hovering over relegation with only over 17th by goal difference. It was a horrific ending for them. Swansea, they were really in that fight for relegation. I would have thought they would have went down, but my prediction wasn't good enough. They squeezed through. Llorente was better than everybody thought he would be, and Swansea were good enough to get away from relegation. Crystal Palace, they had a terrible start. They were in the relegation zone. I thought the three teams going down were Swansea, them, and Sunderland. But they made a lot of big signings. And Sam Allardyce made even more good January signings. He got Sakaho, Van Holt, and yeah, Sakaho was only a loan. But they just need to get away from relegation, and they did that easily. Now, Stoke City, they didn't have a great season. They didn't accomplish avoiding relegation or anything good. They were only a position away from the Europa draw, and now they're 5 positions away from relegation. They didn't look like a good side this season, or as good as they were last season. Leicester City, I think that's the worst title defense in the history of soccer. Leicester, they had a terrible start. They could have been relegated, but somehow Claudio Ranieri majestically bursting on a relegation, made the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and Leicester are safe. Some fans still believe that Leicester could potentially become a global superpower, but if they're going to be finishing 17th on the season following on, I think they need to make a couple improvements in the summer transfer window, because their summer transfer window, I think they did the worst business at the end of the day. Now West Ham, they had a Europa job, but they failed to qualify. It was a really boring season. they lost Payet, and they don't really have any good replacements. I mean, maybe, I don't know if you forgot his name, but it's this guy who's 83 rated on FIFA. Maybe him, he got it in form. But FIFA is not enough. And West Ham, they might eventually even go down, sadly, for West Ham fans. So yeah, it was really boring for them. They could have made Europa draw again. I don't know. But they finished 11th. They had so many boring games. They could have even been more boring than Man U. No Trafford away. So yeah, it wasn't a good season. Now West Brom, to avoid relegation for them is something, but to finish top 10 is insane. They've done it by goal difference. They had one of -8, and they were battered by City and all sorts of clubs, but they won their games, and they won them. I can't really say well. They lost to Crystal Palace. That's when it became shaky, and they were in 8th, only a position away from the Europa draw. But it didn't look like they'd catch up to Everton, but it did look like they could slip, and that happened. And now we have Bournemouth, of course. So many people thought they would go down the first season, and they finished 13th. I think they finished 13th. They had an insane debut season in the Prem, beating Man U. And it's even more crazy now, finishing 2 spots away from the Europa draw. This could be their best season in history. And Bournemouth would definitely be a good, happy side. But relegation, they might be like Sunderland. It'll eventually come. If they don't improve, they'll slowly slip, and they might get relegated. If it's this season, the next, or even the one after that. Next up, we have Europa League finalist Southampton. And when you think of Southampton, they've really been looked at for Van Dijk. He could leave to a club for 60 million. That is insane. I mean, for Southampton, I'm not saying they're a bad club. They had an insane EFL Cup finals record. They didn't concede a single goal all the way up to that, and they conceded 3, of course. But I mean, 60 million. That's never even been for a centre back. It's the craziest thing since Anderson being transferred to City was like a price for a goalkeeper. Even though that happened weeks ago, or even yesterday, I don't know. But yeah, they made the EFL Cup finals. This is a great season. It was a great season for them. I mean, it did make the Europa League, but it crashed out on the group stage. But now, the top 7, who will be in Europe next season? Well, unless they don't qualify like West Ham. You probably know the other positions forward from this, but Everton, they had a mad season after having a very poor one last season in the Premier League. They sold John Stones for a mad profit, and 1 million wouldn't be a bargain for Stones right now. He makes too many mistakes. That was his problem at Everton, and he hasn't been that amazing superstar for City. And he doesn't look so good for him later on. I mean, nobody's even calling him a wonder kid, and I'm pretty sure he's still pretty young. I mean, if you're 78 rated, you're not called a wonder kid, but you're for 56 million. It doesn't make sense. So really, he's been one of the most disappointing players this season, and Everton can make profit off that. And they spent it pretty well. More or less, they spent it pretty well. But really, what got them to the Europa draw is Lukaku. Everybody was betting who's going to win the Golden Boot, and Lukaku was an obvious option, but Harry Kane stole it for the consecutive time. Still, Lukaku broke the Everton record the top goal scorer at for Everton with 60 goals, with more than 60 goals, and he's like under 24. So it was a mad season for Lukaku and Everton. It'll be interesting to see how far a team who's fallen Everton rebuild in the Europa League. If they win, that would be crazy, but they'll have to come up against the next team. I'm going to say. I said the next team I was going to say. Actually, it's Manchester United, and they won't be coming up against the team in the Europa League because they won it. They won the Community Shield and the EFL Cup. That's a treble. So Man U have been really successful this season everywhere except for the Prem. In the Prem, they struggle to score a lot, and they drew at home a lot. But shockingly, look it up. Man U have scored the most goals in Europa League. That is a mad stat, considering how bad they have been in the Premier League. It was an unsuccessful season for the Red Devils under Jose Mourinho until he won Europa League. The fans got really happy and forgot every single draw. From Stoke at home to Stoke away to Everton at home to Everton away to Burnley, and I can go on. West Brom, West Ham, Swansea, Southampton, Liverpool home, Liverpool away. I mean, Liverpool are a good team, but still. Bournemouth. I'm not going to be doing this forever. Let's move on to the 5th place team. Everton might face off in the Europa League. And it's Arsenal. Arsenal, this is the first time in, I think, over a decade that Arsenal have not finished top 4. And I think this is the first time in a decade, in forever, they have finished lower than Tottenham. I mean, Wenger still managed to get the 2-year deal after winning the FA Cup. And Arsenal fans will be exploding about that because he has been very poor this season. He's lost to West Brom, Crystal Palace. Who else is there to lose to? I mean, at least Man U draw. But Arsenal lose. The only reason they finished higher than Man U is because they won. And Man U drew again. But Man U at least had one sparkle of light. They have had a lot of youngsters and a treble. Okay, not one sparkle of light, a lot. All Arsenal won is the FA Cup. Okay, 2 times in 3 years. Man U won 4 trophies in 2 years. It's small trophies and they don't really count, and Arsene Wenger is very lucky to have the 2-year deal. Arsenal fans will still be exploding and they'll be very angry. Next up we have Liverpool. They finished top 4. Unfortunately for me, I'm a Man U fan, but they've had a decent season. If Man U played every game, they would have probably won the league. Finished higher than the other 3 teams for sure. City, Tottenham and Chelsea are left. They've been really good this season, but lost against a lot of good teams and bad teams. Southampton home and away in the EFL Cup. Burnley, Bournemouth, Swansea, Hull City, even Wolverhampton, and there are a couple others, not to mention Bournemouth, who they lost to as well. So let's move on to now we have Man City. Pep was really bad at Man City. Lost 4-0 to Everton. They lost to Monaco, and they got knocked out by them. But it's a decent season. But it was a decent season if, like, Belvedere or like even Jose went today, because he finished top 4. Not even top 4. But Pep, not for Pep. 75 league titles, Pep. Gold. They won't be happy with that. And City should have finished at least 2nd. And Tottenham finished 2nd, which of course means Chelsea won the league. Who doesn't know that? 93 points, 2 points away from joining up the world record in points. They have been massive this season. Tottenham, this is arguably the highest ever finishing. Chelsea just won everything. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Comments about anything about the team, and I hope you enjoyed.